Okay, this video is going to talk about how to track text messages inside Google Ads or Google Analytics or Facebook Ads or Bing/Microsoft Ads, whatever you're doing to drive traffic at your site and you want to track it. Specifically, text messages that come from somebody who came from an ad. I'm going to tell you how to specifically do that on this video today. I'm also going to talk about what is the point of actually having people text you when they can already call you or fill out a contact form on your site or even engage in a live chat on your site. And the reason for that is because you can make big bucks doing it. I'm going to talk about 3 different specific examples where our clients at our PPC firm were tracking text messages and, of course, requesting or trying or prompting people that they're paying from Google or paying Google Ads or Facebook Ads to get people to their site to get more overall response out of their campaign by adding text or text us or text me as a secondary, tertiary option to respond from that campaign that they were driven from or from that ad they were driven to their site from. So with that said, I'll go over the details of why you would even want to ask someone to text you, specific strategies to ask them to text you so you actually get more money and an additional somewhere from 13% all the way upwards of 50% more profit per campaign you're running right now, just simply by asking or giving people the option to text you in addition to the other options that they have to contact you right now if you're generating leads, or even if you're selling on your site and people need to inquire potentially sometimes first before they buy that product. So with that said, I'll get right into the content. First off, just to say up front, receiving text messages from a prospect in 2023, and if it's past 2023, it'll still apply even more, is big because lots of people are starting to prefer it over calling, especially or particularly if you give them that option to just text you. So it's one thing to just say call or text, which that might give you a little bit of a lift, but not much because people aren't going to really see it or notice it on your landing pages or on your site next to where you have your phone numbers. Where it really kicks in and makes a difference is if you say, hey, you could also text us, and giving them that separate option to get more out of your PPC campaigns that you're running right now today, or organic traffic or what other traffic that you have coming to your site as well. So with that said, where it really though can change your business in a big way is, at least where we found, is where customer photos can be added to the equation. Because obviously with text messaging, you can have somebody text you their photograph as well, or text photos to your company that way. We know already just asking people to text you makes a fairly or a significant impact on your results of the amount of leads overall that you're getting per dollar spent on your ad campaigns. When you add the fact that people can send you photos to, as a part of the equation, if you're of course in the right business type or have the right type of business to do it, it makes a much even bigger impact on top of just what you're going to get asking people to text you. And I'm going to give you some examples of that where we've done this with other clients, gave them the ideas or they had the ideas themselves, and what kind of results that we got doing that for those clients. So first of all, I'll mention here, we had a drywall company specifically, Drywall Repair company. So if you got mad at, like when I was a teenager, punched the wall, left a big hole in the wall, and you need to get it covered up before the parents get home, or you're throwing a party and had somebody knock a damn hole in the wall, needed to get it covered up. You call this drywall repair company, and you need to get the drywall repair guys to come up and plaster over it and sand it, paint it, whatever. So with this company, that's all they did was they specialize in this, and there's some companies that do drywall installation and they do repair. There's other companies that just specialize in repair, and that's what this particular company did, i.e. just repair drywall. It's all they did. And so with that, they could have on their landing page, spend more time focusing on just getting the repair leads. They started offering a text option on their landing page to get more overall leads. And what we did specifically that occasion wasn't just, hey, text us. Like I said, it was one potential option you have for squeezing out more value from the PPC traffic you're paying for right now. We actually said, text us for an instant quote. And so they had we had a button essentially, which you can do this as well. There's a way to have a text to or click to text button, just like there's click to call buttons that you can get, where if you click on the phone number or click on the button, it allows you to right away call the user, takes the phone number, imports it into the phone app, and with that you can obviously call. Same thing happens with text. You could click the button, and in this case, with click to text though, you have a little pop-up that automatically populates the your company's number in the to blank, and then from there just asks you what you want to text to the company, and then they can fill it in, and then they hit enter. It texts the company. Of course, it implies that when they reply back, it's going to come directly to your text message inbox on your phone. So we had a click to text button that says text us for an immediate or instant quote, right? And as a part of that, we had an option for them to send a photo of their wall, their hole in their wall or whatnot, and a prompt on there to text a photograph of the hole in the wall that you basically want to get fixed. So, and we could have went with a couple different options here. We could have just said, click, for an instant quote, text us, and then had them text us, and then we could have texted them back saying, hey, we need a photograph of your wall. Can you take a picture of it with your phone and text us back? That can be one way to do it. That might actually be a better way of getting an overall better or more profit per lead from your PPC campaigns. Given if you ask for the photo up front, because you're asking for too much up front, you may get less overall sales from the same amount of leads or opportunities, which is, by the way, the case with contact forms. The more you ask on a contact form, at least all at once, or in general, but particularly all at once, the less people are going to submit it. And so it's known already in the marketing space. If you take that contact form and the 6 things that you want to ask, you break it down to just 3 things you want to ask. And then when they hit enter, it pops up a second step, which has 3 more questions. You'll end up with more profit doing that than asking all 6 questions all at once, because people see the 6 questions, they say, I don't want to answer all those questions, and then they're just not going to do it at all. Versus if they were to answer 3 or saw 3, they would be willing to answer it at a higher rate than if they saw 6, because it looks like the commitment's initially less. And once you've already committed so much effort into doing 3, you're going to say, shit, I've already committed this much effort, I might as well finish it. So this is the same thing with the texting. If you ask them for all this stuff in the text, they may not text you. If you just ask them to text you in anything, and then you could text them back, you could end up with more overall profit from the same traffic, given they're already got that feeling of commitment or effort spent to even engage with you in the first place. Once they've texted you once already, you can ask for other details that they wouldn't necessarily would have gave you if you asked them for all of them up front. So in this case though, we asked them to send the photo in the actual click to text box that popped up, and we got 48% more conversion rate from all the traffic that we had still coming to that landing page. So in other words, when we had the telephone number and the contact form and nothing else besides that, no text option, initially on our PPC campaigns, we got one set of, or one conversion rate basically. Once we added this click to text for an instant quote, click to text, and then a button for them to hit, and then asking them to upload their photo for an instant quote, we got 48% more people overall responding from that landing page, and same amount of ad budget and same amount of traffic basically than we had without the text option. So, but we didn't just obviously ask them to text us. You never actually should do that, because people have different preferred methods of communication. Some people like to call, some people like to fill out the contact form. Some people prefer to text if there was a text option, and as we're finding here, there's a lot of people that are preferring to text, which is why you should give people a text option to begin with. But in this particular case, in terms of adding up all the leads that we got from our PPC campaign, before and after adding a text option, we got 48% more overall responses from adding the text option itself. So, and the type of responses that we got from the text actually were just as good a quality as the phone call or contact form. So we basically got roughly 48% more profit and sales revenue as well, in addition just to the 48% in increase in responses. So I just want to throw that in there as well. They were basically all quality leads, or similar quality to the rest of the leads we were already getting. So just by giving the user an option to get an instant quote through sending a text, a lot of people were willing to do that. Of course, I think we could have gotten a little bit of a bump by saying fill out this form for an instant quote. And use the word, that word instant's powerful. We could have maybe got a little bit of a response bump from that, but just the fact that they could text us for an instant quote, that just really hit them in the gut. And for some reason, it just really seemed to get a lot of people to gravitate towards that texting option. And so this is useful because obviously most of you guys aren't going to have a competitor that's going to allow the user to reply by text. And when you add that option in there, knowing what I'm telling you is a lot of people, more than you think, would prefer and like to text the company. You're going to be you're going to have something special for them. And maybe these results aren't going to be around if everybody starts, having a text option. But at least for now, a lot of people want it and not very many people are offering it. So you should jump on it. But in this market, it's great because basically the person knows that, they don't want to talk to a salesperson on the phone. If they could just text right away and get a quote, because really all they want is a quote anyway, it's a low ask for them to just text them. And so it worked really well. So anyway, that's one example of, a situation, what you could do. It's a great way to quote people, having them text you a photograph, and then particularly, which some of our clients, by the way, when people fill out a contact form, they'll text them right away and ask them for the photograph. So that'd be one way to do it. But why do that when, generally speaking, which you could actually do that from all the form leads you got, but also, give the user the option to text you as well. And within the texting option, or click the text, or you could just have a phone number for them to text and say, text us for a quicker response, like we sometimes do with our clients. And ultimately go back and forth with them through text, because a lot of people like this. So second example we had here where we used a text us option was for a tattoo removal clinic. With this particular company, for what I was just describing, by contact forms, through the contact form, we started to text people back. That particular doctor, it was a doctor doing it in this case, texted every person that responded to the form. But we also, because of that, we added in there, because we knew the client was fine with texting people already, adding the option when we found out that they were fine with texting people, in other words, we added the option for them to just, the user to just text us as a possible way to respond. And just by having next to the contact form, we had the contact form and then we had next to it. So basically what we had was, imagine this was the landing page. We had the contact form here, and then we had something that said on the right hand side, there's like a 2-column layout, or text us, and then the phone number. We got an additional 13% more leads overall when you added up phone calls, form fills, and the texts, versus when we just asked for the phone calls, or asked the user to call or fill out the contact form, we had 13% less leads when we didn't have that, text us option, so to say, available. And so we said, text us for a instant reply, or text us for an instant reply is what we said. And so we got 13% conversion rate. So again, the word instant may contributed to this 13% increase a little bit, but and I don't to what degree on its own. If we would have said fill out this form for an instant reply versus fill out, contact us for a quote. Maybe we got a bit of a jump there, but respectively, either way, if you're going to offer people a third option, if you will, to text you, I would just say, with the phone number, text us for an instant reply or text us for an instant quote, if that's possible to do. You should use the word instant because it gives the user a feeling that if you text the person, you're gonna get a text right back. They're gonna be very likely to just text you and use that option because it's handy. So, in other words, instead of just saying or text us, phone number, text us for a quicker reply or text us for an instant reply, much better in terms of the numbers. Even though I haven't tested it without using the word instant and with it, because it just makes sense. Why not to do that? If you can do it, why not do it? But I just know from copywriting and being a copywriter as a part of my job, power words, instant, immediate, guaranteed, fast. These words, these adjectives, they actually add a lot of a response rate to anything you're doing. You should always use those power words in headlines and call to actions and so forth. So anyway, that's just another small tip, but an additional 13% more leads and therefore sales from an ad campaign just by offering a third option for them to text you, not bad at all. The third example where we used and added a text option for a client who didn't have it before was a mailbox company that sold, high-end type mailboxes. And in this particular case, we had a interesting situation where a lot of times people will get a mailbox. One thing that they're thinking that I was thinking of, I came up with this actual idea and pitched it to the client myself. A lot of people, they get the mailbox. The biggest thing is they're trying to decide if the mailbox is going to look good on their property, right? I mean, other than you could see it there on the page, but until you see what it looks like in front of your house, you're not going to fully be sold on it. So with nobody else doing this and us being able to do this, and if we could get the user to see what our mailbox is going to look like on their house, and nobody else is offering that to them, then they're going to feel the most safe, so to say, going with us if we can get them to get that photo, because it's less risk to not have something that, as long as it matches up and it looks okay in the photograph and they agree with it, they're going to be more likely to go with us because it's going to seem less risky to just go with us at that point than the competitor who they don't know the mailbox is going to look good on their property or not. So we started offering that to people that inquired, hey, if you go take a photograph of the front of your house, we'll send you back your photograph with the mailbox superimposed on the photograph. And so we did that, but what we also did was we had an option next to the contact form, similar to like what we had in the tattoo removal clinic above in the second example, that said text us instead. And specifically also what we had was we had a page on the site that specifically asked the user if they wanted to be able to send their photograph to us so that we could put the mailbox superimpose it on their photograph to see what the mailbox would look like. We had the contact form there originally, but then we also added the option for them to text us the photo of their house. And the combination of adding an option next to their usual contact form saying text us instead, and the contact form for where they can actually send a photo to us to see what the mailbox that they're interested in, the model of mailbox they're interested in, is going to look like next to their house. We got a 17% increase in conversion rate, or number of leads that we got coming into through the campaigns and through the site, having an option basically next to each one of those types of contact forms versus just having the contact form by itself, and that's it. So it's another use case of basically what you can do with this, text us option. And in that case, if you have something, you can see the theme here. You can ask them to just text you, or you can ask them to text you a photograph showing their situation and get a very high engagement rate from that and through that. So there's a specific exciting reason why they should text you basically. So respectively, we did not obviously, I just mentioned about the, superimposing the product on the image of their house as kind of a separate interesting case study, but, and we could have tested just having a text option next to, the form that we were offering, the photograph editing, or could have just did it on a general contact us inquiry form individually and saw what the lift of it in the amount of response we got from a certain amount of traffic from one type, the contact us page form versus the submit your photo form. But what I can tell you is when we added a text option next to each form, we got a 17% increase in overall responses on the site for both types of forms. Okay, so and specifically where they could text us instead next to the contact form where they were supposed to upload a photo of their house. That's where we had it mentioned. We did not have a click to text in that option in that situation where they had a specialized box that popped up that, like the Drywall Repair company, where they needed to enter their text, what they wanted to text, and then upload a photo in that box. All we did in this situation, next to the contact form that asked the user, would you like to upload a photo of your house so we can show you the model of mailbox that you're interested in superimposed in it. We just said, fill out the form or text us a photograph of your house. So there wasn't a separate pop-up box, when the user would click on the texting phone number or phone number designated for texting. It just said, text us the picture of your house, and we'll text you back or send you back, in other words, the picture of your house with the mailbox that you wanted superimposed over or into it. And so that's actually like a third option that you can go with. So in summary, you can have something that technically has 4 options. To add texting as an option, a third or fourth contact option on your site and landing pages. You could have next to your phone number on the usually in the top left of your page. You could say text or call us, and then have the phone number there. And instead of just saying call us, you could say text or call us. You could have on your site a number that says for faster response, text us, and then have the number. You could have a click to text button where if you clicked on it, you got a pop-up that allows you to just type in that box and then click enter, and then you can text, which allows the user to upload photos if you need that. That would be something else you can do in that particular situation. And it also obviously also helps that if you're on a desktop device and you want them to text your phone, that click to text option allows you to have them text back your phone even though you're on a desktop device when you're on the landing page. And then the fourth option, like I said, is to have a phone number there that says, basically text us instead, or just text us, and then text us your photograph, or text us your wall, or text us whatever. So in other words, you text us and then send the photo next to it, text us your photo, and then the phone number, so they can text the phone number, and then indicating that when you text us, you should also include your photograph in with it. So there's 4 different kind of variants of how you can use texting as an option to increase your conversion rates on your PPC campaigns. And the results will vary just based upon what industry you're in. Offering people a way to text us if the Mailbox Company near each one of the contact forms, and then specifically in the situation where the customer was supposed to text us a photograph of their house, mentioning you should text us our photo or your photo instead here, by texting this number. That got us a 17% increase on our overall lead flow. The tattoo removal clinic, where we gave people an option to text us for a faster or instant reply, 13% more leads. And for the Drywall Repair company, where the user was able to text their photograph of their wall for an instant quote, we got a 48% increase in inquiries for the same amount of traffic on our landing pages once we instituted that text option, if you will, on our landing pages. So the results will vary based upon how you go about implementing it. I gave you some ideas there. You can see the kind of results lift you could get. For most companies, I would say if you have an option to text you, you're going to get a bigger response in leads than you're going to get before. I have not yet, to this date, offered people a way to text and not seen a measurable lift in increase in conversion rate. So I can stand here and confidently say, yes, you also should be doing this. You'll get a lift in conversion rates, and it only is going to take you a little bit of work to change your site, change your landing pages to offer this. So with all that said, now this particular video is about how to track the texting. Because obviously if you try to get people to text you, there's two major other things you obviously have to worry about. A, how do I deal with text coming in and responding to them? And B, how do I track this? So, because inside your Google ads and Facebook ads, whatever you're running for PPC, you're tracking the phone calls and contact forms, or you should be already, to guide your ads so that when you get a lead, the ad algorithms can guide your ads to get more of the type of people that got you a good lead before. If you have people texting you, you're going to now have a certain percentage of all the people replying not tracked in your ad accounts, which that in and itself, if you don't track the text leads, the rise in leads that you get can potentially just completely be offset. I would say basically it's going to be completely offset by the loss in data inside your ad accounts that, Google and Facebook and whatever, or Bing/Microsoft, losing that bit of data, it's not going to make your ads as efficient as if it had all the conversion data to begin with. So with that said, if you want to also set this up, because you're already sold on doing this, as per my case studies, how you track the text messages that you have coming in from your campaigns through Google Ads and Facebook and Bing/Microsoft, or also if you want to do it through Google Analytics, you follow these basic steps. First, you're going to need a Callrail account, first of all. There's other ways to do this, by the way, but Callrail would be the simple, easy way to do it, the layman's way to do it. Get yourself a Callrail account. It's roughly $50 a month. Once you have a Callrail account established, you'll place the Callrail JavaScript tracking code on every page of your site. So they give you one little piece of tracking code to put on every page of your site. Once you've done that, you just copy and paste it in there. You're going to set up the related integrations for the different places that you want to track these different calls at. Now, you may have Callrail already, and in that case, you don't have to set up, you probably already got these integrations set up, but Callrail has a direct integration plugin with Google Ads, Google Analytics, Facebook, and Bing/Microsoft ads. And so with that, you could actually set it up so that when you have a text message comes in, it'll be picked up by Callrail, it'll be tracked by Callrail, and that text message can then automatically be sent to Google Ads /Google Analytics /Facebook /Bing/Microsoft ads as a conversion. Just like a phone call that comes in can be sent to these same platforms and tracked as a conversion there as well, using these same integrations. You can actually, with Callrail, track any contact form fills on your site as a conversion through the same integration. So Callrail is great in that technically, if you wanted to, you could track every way that they could reply, except for chat or live chat, the contact forms, the phone calls, and the texts. So to track texts, in other words, you are going to use Callrail and the direct integration they have with these ad platforms so that when a text comes in, you automatically are going to send that data as a conversion to these ad platforms. Callrail, as long as you're using a local tracking number, the text tracking function is going to be set up automatically. And inside Callrail, it'll show you all the texting, texts, TEXTS, that you're getting inside your Callrail account. And so ultimately with that, it obviously is going to pick up if a text comes through to your phone number or not. So where you're going to say, you could, if you prefer to text us, here's a phone number to text us. That phone number is going to be a phone number that Callrail gives you as your tracking number. And then when people text that number, Callrail picks up that not only somebody texted you through that phone number so you can send it to your ad platforms in real time, but also what that person said in their text, as that's also listed inside your Callrail account. If you see my last video or in other videos that I've talked about conversion tracking, a lead is not a lead is not a lead. One lead that you get is nowhere near the same quality as another lead. And if you're going to get extremely good results inside of your Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Microsoft Ads accounts, you need to be able to sift through all the leads that you get and only send data to your ad account about the qualified leads you get. Because the more accurate data that you send your ad platforms that you're using to drive traffic to your site, the better your results are going to be from PPC in general, because you put crap data into your ad accounts, you get crap results out. You put good quality data in, you get good results out. And with a lot of salespeople calling you and wasting your, clicking on your ads, getting to your site, calling you. You got people looking for jobs calling you. You got bots calling you. If you're sending every single call, assuming you're using Callrail, to your ad platforms to basically notify your ad platforms that you got a lead, so they can see, look into the type of person who called, so they can get you more of those type of people, you're going to end up with lackluster results, because all the shitty leads are being mixed in with the good leads, and the ad algorithms are going to not be able to nearly as well get you the type of callers that you actually want by just sending every single call to them and treating every person who calls the same. The same thing with the texts that you get. A lot of the texts you get are going to be people that are salespeople or whatever, and you want to be able to weed those people out, so the algorithms that Google, Facebook, Bing has to get you the results you eventually want and that you're really going to cash out on using, you don't want to confuse them by giving them data about somebody that looks like a conversion that's not a conversion, basically. So what you do in that case to make sure the texts that you get that aren't really leads, or people texting because they're checking on their order status, they've already ordered or whatever, you are going to go, as I mentioned, every single text that comes through your Callrail tracking number is going to show up in Callrail. So you could go in and see what people have texted you since you set all this up. And any texts that look like they're unqualified leads, you leave alone. The ones that are qualified, you can click on the notes button next to the text itself, and under the value box, or there's a box that says value, you can plug in a number. And so what you can do is you can decide either anybody that's looking for services or looking to buy my products that looks like a qualified lead, I'm going to send through a value of $100. You just pick an arbitrary number, so that ultimately when you go and look in your ad account later on, you can see not only a text came in, but it was a qualified text, because the value field, or the value of the conversion, is actually passed through my account. And or you can actually decide to tier it. If somebody's asking about one service versus another service, you can actually send, if they're looking for, if they were asking about mold removal, you can, if you see that they're texting you about mold removal, in the value box you can put 100, but if they're asking about basement flooding, you can put the value box to say 200, so that you're actually, because a lead about basement flooding is normally 2 times as profitable as a whole as somebody inquiring about mold removal. And you can tier it like that, have a kind of a key that you follow. So one type of lead gets so much value, another type of lead gets another amount of value. And so that ultimately inside your ad accounts, when you're telling these ad accounts to maximize conversion value, which is you're going to maximize the, basically for text messages that have a high value tied to it, you get the most accurate, best results possible. So your ad accounts can optimize for more conversions, i.e. did you get a text or not? Or you can go to the next level and update the value box, and the bidding that you choose to have on your campaigns inside your PPC accounts could optimize for conversion value, because you're giving the conversion value to these ad platforms because you're updating the value box next to your text messages in the text message menu on Callrail, and you're going to get to where the algorithm is going to be much more precise about the type of people they're going to get you, because you're giving them the lead level data, or whether a lead is qualified or not, and even further, how good of a lead was it? Was it a lead for a really high ticket product or service, or was it for a low ticket product or service? Or you could go to the next level, and as long as somebody buys from you typically within a 90-day period from the time that they initially come to your site from your PPC campaign, you can actually take the value of what they spent and put that in the value box, and then inside your accounts you'll see at the ad level, the campaign level, the keyword level, the audience level, and so forth, how much sales revenue you got from every text lead that came in at each one of those individual levels, so that you can optimize your ads and the ad algorithm can optimize your ads, both actually. So the best would be plugging in that value box to your actual sales revenue, not whether the lead was qualified or not, because it's just going to be that much more precise in what the ad algorithm can do for you to get you more and better results on an ongoing basis, and help yourself optimize your ads on your end, trying to cut out the stuff that's wasteful and so forth. But a lot of times, a sale doesn't occur that quickly, or you may not have time to do it. The second best thing was, of course, could and would be just going in there and making sure to not update the value box if the lead isn't qualified. And you can know it's qualified based upon, of course, what they're texting you. If it's a sales inquiry, are they asking for order update, and so forth, or a shipping update, or whatever. So you get my general point of what I'm trying to convey and get across here. You can either send whether a text happened, or you can send whether a text happened and was qualified, or you can send whether a text was qualified, ended up turning into a sale, and how much they actually spent to these ad platforms that you're using. All of it would be done basically the same exact way through the related integrations that Callrail provides for these different platforms. And the only difference would be is whether or not you decide to fill out the value box with the lead value, i.e. was it qualified, and assigning an arbitrary value to whether a lead is qualified or not, or what the sales revenue tied to that text lead was, and sending that through the value box to these ad platforms. And so ultimately, just to pick one of these, for example, in your Google Ads account, when you go look at your campaigns in your Google Ads account, you can do split rows is what it's called, and per campaign you can see all the conversion goals that you're tracking: phone calls, contact form fills, then now text messages. And then when you go and if you adjust your columns to it so that conversion value is also showing, if you update the conversion value box under text message conversions, it won't just say the number of text message conversions you got, but it'll say the conversion value, in other words, the value of those text conversions, and that value showing is whatever you put in the value box here. Okay, so just to put it all into perspective here about the importance of importing the value, or using that value box to indicate and import to Google, Facebook, whatever that you're using here, that the lead is qualified or not, just by weeding out the bad leads and only making sure that you can tag these leads inside your ad accounts of what's an actual qualified lead, guarantee you can make 3 times as much ROI on your campaigns having the information about whether the lead was qualified or not. And that doesn't even count whether or not you made a sale or not, just whether the lead was qualified or not. You'll make 3 times as much money, given, generally speaking, and here's the reason why, leads that are typically the cheapest are not the best leads. Why? Because these ad platforms, it's all a bidding system. So the people that normally, where the high value leads come from, the cost to get in front of those high value leads is more. So if you're trying to set your ad accounts up with the bidding strategy you're using in your ad accounts to get you the cheapest cost per lead, cheapest leads you can, the algorithm's going to go after the leads that nobody else wants, because those are the cheapest ones, because it's all an auction bidding system. And you're going to end up getting crappier and crappier leads because the ad algorithm that these ad platforms have is optimizing for that, and that's what you told them to optimize for, versus flipping the whole thing on its head and optimizing for the best quality leads that generate the highest rate, that are most likely to convert into a sale, or even better if you're using the sales revenue data, which have the highest ROI or the highest revenue on average that that comes from them. Then when you got the conversion value data going into your ad account, instead of using cost per conversion bidding or maximize conversion bidding, you can go for maximize conversion value. So you're flipping the whole thing on its head. Now the algorithm, because of your bidding strategy you chose there, it's looking for more conversion value versus cheaper conversions. And so it's going to go after anything that's going to produce the most conversion value, i.e. it's going to go after what's going to be able to get you the most qualified leads versus just the most leads in general. And that's why you're going to be able to make 3 times as much money, because it'll send your account in just a completely different direction once it's optimizing for qualified leads versus just a lead in general. And even more so, actually, if you're optimizing for not just qualified leads, but leads that turned into a sale and generated a high level of revenue on top of that. So that's your end goal if you can do it and put the time in to do it. But that's the flow of how you track a text message and get that data into your account. And if you want to take it to the next level and make sure that only qualified text messages get sent to your account for bid optimization purposes, and or the sales information about how much a person spent from your text messages, if that's what you want, that can only be sent to your Google Ads or Microsoft Ads or whatever you're doing for PPC. As a last thing I want to mention here before I wrap this up, if you want to, by the way, to deal with your text, I mentioned, obviously, if you want the extra responses from your ad campaigns by offering a text option, you got to be able to track the text, which I already covered. You also got to be able to reply to the text. In Callrail, since you're already using Callrail has a cool feature where they have pre-written templates to where you could click on, you could have like 4 or 5 text templates. And when you have a text come in, it can actually, if you have the app downloaded on your phone or whatnot, it'll say, you got a text. And then you could just select one of 5 different text options. With one button, you can text them back a pre-written message. They do have that feature. Or if you want to automatically text them back, just like you would do, like if you got a form lead coming in, I always have things set up for our own business and any business I manage so that you automatically get an email back that looks like it's coming from a real person. So if, in other words, taking a step backwards here, if you got a form lead, you got a form on your site, you're driving traffic to your site, people fill out the form, it's known the faster you respond to a form, the more money you're going to make, because it's more likely they're going to reply back, particularly if it's done in the first 15 minutes. So what you always want to do is then have an automated reply back that looks like a real human replied. Hey, thank you for contacting me. I'll be helping you out. Can you tell me about what are you going to be using this for? Make it look like it's coming from a real salesperson, because if they reply back, now they're that much more likely to buy from you, given they're now that much more invested in your process, versus do what other people are going to do and wait for their salesperson to text them back to hear from you the first time. And obviously, if it's an auto reply and they can tell it's an auto reply, a lot of times they'll ignore it. That's why you want it to make it look like a real human. So as it applies to this, the text messages, you absolutely want to automatically text them back when they text you using any one of the variants that I gave you to give people a text option to begin with. And you want to text them back automatically. Well, you can do that with a Twilio account. And using Zapier integration, you can integrate your contact forms. You can integrate whatever systems you have for handling texts, or you could just use your Twilio account in general to, when you have texts through your phone number, you can actually automatically text them back. So with these 2 softwares here, you should be able to basically, without any advanced programming, have a text that automatically gets sent to them back, asking them an engagement, some kind of question that engages them, whether it's you pretending like you're a salesperson to ask them, a preliminary question that's easy for them to answer. It should always be an easy question that anybody can answer. Or you could do what this guy here did at the Drywall Company. which I actually suggested here. When somebody is texting for a quote, we automatically texted back, oh, okay, is there a certain price that you're looking for to pay to get your, this hole in the wall fixed? And if you know anything about negotiations, the first person who says how much they're looking for or what, it basically loses, because that sets the stage for all the rest of the negotiation. So in that case, obviously if they say something too low, they can just outright refuse it. But if they say something high, they can just automatically go with that because they showed their cards already. So you could do something like that. That's a small side tip. But anyway, you could text them back something automatically. Going further here, actually, you can use when you're using Twilio already, you can integrate Twilio with text chatbots. So you could do what the tattoo removal clinic did here, which is when somebody texts, the chatbot that integrates with Twilio can look for certain keywords. So if they're looking for, because they offered multiple services as this tattoo clinic, not just tattoo removal. So if they ask about one service, it would text back a certain specific type of text that was surrounding that type of service specifically. If they were looking for one of the other 5 services they offered, it would text back with another text. And with the chatbot, you can set it up depending on what keywords they use, a different text will come back. So you could use the chatbot to kind of engage with them, and you can do it on multiple levels. It doesn't just have to be on the first reply. It can be one of 5 possible messages that get sent out initially, and then based upon what they reply, another potential 20 different messages. And you can use that to engage with the user, and the more engagement you get from them, the more likely they are going to buy from you, because they are going to feel the most familiar. You're going to feel the most familiar to them, and that's just statistically how sales works in general. Because like with phone calls, the longer you're on the phone with a prospect, the more likely they are to buy from you, because all that time they're going to feel like it's a sunk cost to them if they have to go and invest that same time again with another sales guy at a different company. So your goal is just to keep them on the phone as long as you can. Same thing applies with this texting thing. The more text you're going to go back and forth with them, the more likely they are going to buy. The quicker you text them, the more likely they are going to reply. When you combine the two and you get them to, you text early and you're able to text back and forth quickly, like in the first 5 minutes, text back and forth 2 or 3 times already, your rate of closing is going to skyrocket. So while it's tough to set up the chatbot initially, that's going to save you so much time, but more importantly, it's going to make you so much more money, because these people, when you say, first of all, you can say instant reply and be 100% honest, we'll just say, versus 90% honest. Basically, it's just going to seem like you're on top of it, and that a person that is going to text back and forth with you right away, that's a company that everybody wants to do business with. So you could go with the chatbot, you could instantly reply back, or you can instantly or manually reply back. There's some different options. Reply back when you get an alert on your phone saying a text came in. There's some different options available to you. The amount of return that you get is up to you, depending on how far you go with this. Are you going to just set up to the text option? Are you going to add the tracking? You'll make more if you add the tracking. Are you going to text back immediately? You'll automatically make more if you text back immediately. Are you going to add a chatbot that can text back and forth with them? That'll make you more money if you can do that, because you can instantly reply back and have a conversation with them over the first 15 minutes of them texting every time, if you're not able to text them outright every time yourself within the first 15 minutes of them texting you every time. So the automation will allow you to be there when you can't be there, so to say. Anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over today. This gives you a lot of material to be able to improve your PPC campaign conversion rates, as well as the conversion rate and the money that you're making from other traffic sources like Google organic traffic and so forth. So with all that said, I'll wrap it up. If you have any questions about anything I covered today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you like the video, you should give it a like and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other videos on this channel that's going to show you how to make a ton of money at PPC. What you were shared today about how to make more money from your existing PPC campaigns and traffic you already have, I have hundreds of other techniques that I'm going to be going over, which are not random techniques, but techniques that I'm learning, having managed several dozen PPC campaigns for clients at our PPC firm at any given time. I'm giving you the raw information about what works with PPC on Google, Facebook, and so forth. So if you want to hear it from the horse's mouth, you're going to be able to get it from me on this channel. And it's therefore, as far as in my opinion goes, the best information you can find, period, on YouTube to learn how to make money with PPC ads. No theory, just actionable advice. That said, I also, by the way, have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog where you can find other information from myself about how to set up PPC campaigns, the way that basically guarantee results for our clients, and that's what we do at our firm. So if you want to see some other step-by-step information on how to build campaigns that work, you can find other great information for myself there. As the last thing I want to mention, we also have a brand new program at our PPC firm where we're offering turnkey PPC templates. And what that looks like is, instead of hiring a PPC firm, if you're struggling with your PPC, you can contact us and see if we've worked in your market already. And if we have, what we can offer you is a template version of the results that we've got in that same market that you're in already for use in your account, to basically copy and paste the results that work for that market into your account. And with that, as long as you're not overlapping or in the same market as our client or a past client, you can use the same type of ads, not exact, but same type of ads, same type of landing pages that got results in that market before, know what kind of results we can get in that market ahead of time, and then just copy and paste the results into your account, bypassing all the work that you would have to do to get those same results in your market without having to work with an ad agency if you don't want to do that. So, and we have results like that in just dozens and dozens of markets. And so if you reach out to us, we could tell you what results we have in what markets. So you would be able to see what you could get and for what market. We started this program, by the way, because we had certain companies come to us and they're struggling in their current business. They took our advice to just start a business up in a market that we know we've got great results in that market already. The person's outsourced all the work to somebody else in the local area, marked up the price 10 or 20% for themselves, and they've got mostly a passive income business, having a website, landing page, and campaign that's transferred from an account that's already making millions of dollars a year running that same campaign in another market that doesn't compete with them. So if you're interested in that type of thing, want to know what results we have markets in, want to know if we have results in your market, contact us. We'll let you know what we have available. So though with that, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.